Let me thank my mother, the Queen Mother, for the very kind words that she spoke. I feel very encouraged by her words, and I can assure you that we're going to work very hard so that NDC achieves victory. But the harder work is beyond election 2024. This NPP government has destroyed the economy of Ghana to such an extent that we do not deceive ourselves that it's going to be easy when we come into government. Things are going to be very difficult. In 2016, if you took the total national debt and you shared it amongst all the Ghanaians and said everybody should pay his part of the debt, all of us would have paid 4,000 cedis. Today, after 7.5 years of NPP administration, if you take the total national debt and you say we should share it amongst all the 30 million Ghanaians, each of us will pay 20,000 Ghana cedis. That is the extent of the damage that has been done to this economy. A government that just thought that borrowing and spending was all that you should do. But it's the hypocrisy that is annoying. This is the same government where somebody said that if it was just borrowing and spending, even their child in primary school can be president. And they said the money is there. I worked in Bank of Ghana. I know the money is there. We can develop this country without borrowing. Today, look at where they've ended us. Inflation is high. Hardship is across the land. There's no support for farmers. The cocoa industry has collapsed. In 2016, the cocoa industry, when we went for syndication, brought us $2 billion. Today, syndication got us only $400 million. No wonder the CD is running away. And they say they locked it up. Apparently, they didn't lock up the CD. They said they had locked the dollar. They didn't lock the US dollar. I think maybe it was some other dollar, maybe the Liberian dollar or Zimbabwe dollar or something like that. And so today, every sector is in trouble. All the state-owned enterprises that were making profits under the NDC administration, today all of them are making losses. Unemployment was 8.5% in 2016. Today, unemployment is 14.7%. No wonder our children are finishing school, even tertiary education, and they can't find employment. This is the extent of mismanagement that this government has undertaken. All projects that were going on, community day schools, you go to Bunkpurugu Senior High School, we're building a dining hall complex. You go to Nakwanduri, we're building a dining hall complex, Bimbagu, classroom blocks, and all that. Today, all those projects have come to a standstill because they've collateralized the GET fund, taking the money and spent it. And so, this government has been a disaster. Indeed, I say that the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia administration is the biggest political scam in the history of the Fourth Republic. They package themselves very beautifully with a lot of lies and deceit, and they got the people to vote for them. Today is just a story of broken promises. One village, one dam. Where are the dams? One district, one factory. Where are the factories? $1 million per constituency per year. Where is the 1 million? And that's why my brother Haruna said, when you go to woo a woman, you can add deceit to it. You can deceive her to win her. But after you win her and she comes into your house, you can't use deceit to keep her in your house. You understand me? You can use lies to bring her to your house. But when she comes to your house, she will see the reality in your house. And that is what has happened. Ghanaians, we see the reality today. And so the good thing about democracy is every 4 years we have the opportunity to make a change. We have the opportunity to make a choice. And so Ghanaians are called upon again on 7th December 2024 to exercise their mandate and make a choice. And after what we have gone through in 7.5 years, it surprises me anybody who will still go to the ballot box and say he's going to vote for MPP again. Maybe those who have made money under this government, yes, they will go and vote again. But I know that the majority of Ghanaians have seen a reversal in the quality of their lives in these 7.5 years. And the majority of Ghanaians who are feeling the pinch, the majority of Ghanaians who are finding it difficult to put food on the table for your children, the majority of Ghanaians who are finding it difficult to travel because you cannot afford transport fares, the drivers of this country who can't buy fuel, the teachers who do not have learning aids in school, the nurses who have finished school and are sitting at home. 4 batches of nurses have finished nursing training and they have no work to do. I know that the majority of those people will make a good choice. And the viable option, and I know that by the grace of God, inshallah, the viable option is the NDC, and the NDC is coming back into government. I've been president before. And I had the experience. There's no school where you go and pay school fees and enroll and say, I want to learn how to be president. You have to learn on the job. Luckily for me, I got the experience working with a very good, honest, one of the best presidents we've had in Ghana, Professor John Evans Atta Mills. And so as president, we did some things well. We did a lot of infrastructure. We provided health facilities in many districts and regions. We provided educational facilities. In the 8 years when Prof and myself were in government, we removed more than 3,000 schools under trees. We built more than 4,000 CHIPS compounds. We built roads and highways. We provided water to people. I had the privilege of commissioning the Bunkpurugu water system. We extended electricity to as many communities as possible. If communities have light today, and Ghana has one of the highest rates of access to electricity, then it is thanks to the NDC administration. But on reflection, I've been out of office for 8 years. It gives me the opportunity to look back and look at some of the things that we could have done better. And not everybody gets that opportunity. That you become president, you go out of office, and you get the opportunity to come back again. And so I know that in the 4 years coming, I will be a much better president than even the first time when I was president. One, because of the experience that I've been president before, and 2, because I have had the opportunity to reflect on my period of time as president. and it gives me a focus on the things that we need to do to turn around the fortunes of our country as quickly as possible. This is a nation in a hurry. And I bring you greetings from Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. And I can assure you, the women of this country, and our children, our daughters, and all the women of Ghana, that for the first time in the history of Ghana, you will get a woman vice president. And that will open the doors for our daughters, that in future our daughters too can develop themselves, learn and become vice presidents or even presidents of Ghana. One day there will be a woman president of Ghana. And so I want to thank you for the warm welcome you have given me. I want to address a few of the issues that you raised. The one who spoke on behalf of teachers, he raised just one issue, and that is the issue that you have come out with a new curriculum, and yet in all the basic schools, they do not have textbooks. This is the first time in history that I've heard that government cannot provide children with textbooks. When NDC was in office, the children had all the 4 core textbooks that they were required to have. Today, even the teachers do not have the textbooks to be able to use the textbooks to teach the children. Free SHS. A study came out recently by EduWatch. Anybody can go and read it. And it says that even with free SHS, parents are still bearing 73% of the cost of educating their children in secondary school. And so, we are coming to make free SHS better. We are coming to decentralize the cooking of food for children, the procurement of food. The headmasters of the schools are going to be responsible for procuring food for the children. They are not going to sit and wait for national buffer stock to bring the food. I was watching the TV, and one of the headmasters said, buffer stock brings rice. And so you go to the storeroom, there's only rice. So in the morning, they give the children rice water. In the afternoon, they give them rice and stew. In the evening, they give them omutu, rice balls. Because there's only rice. There's no beans, no vegetables, nothing. And he says sometimes there's no rice, but there's corn. So in the morning, they give the children cocoa. In the afternoon, they give them banku. In the evening, they give them TZ. Because there's only corn. If we decentralize the procurement of food, the headmasters will be able to procure the food from the farmers in the area. And they'll be able to buy granules. They'll be able to buy beans. They'll be able to buy vegetables, so that the children can get a nutritious diet. And so the feeding grants should not go to buffer stock. The feeding grants should be paid directly to the secondary schools, so that the headmasters can use the money and buy nutritious food for the children. And so we're going to make free SHS better. We're going to abolish the double track, so that all our children can go to school at the same time and vacate at the same time. And so, we will solve the issues of the education sector. There are issues that are germane to your area, and one is the road network. We started the road from Walwale to Gambaga to Nalergu, and the intention was to continue the road to Nakwanduri and to Bunkpurugu. Unfortunately, after we left office, work came to a standstill. When I was coming, I saw they had put some gravel on the road, and I know that's what MPP does. Once it's an election year, you start seeing some action on your road. as if they are going to do it. As soon as you vote and finish, that's it. The contractor will pack his things and go. But I can assure Chief that your Eastern Corridor roads, including Sayoku to Nanyere Road, all those roads, the road from Nalergu through Nakwanduri to Bunkpurugu, as you said, we will make them a #1 priority. Aside from that, we will encourage a commercial bank to open a branch in Bunkpurugu. Because for a place like Bunkpurugu, a district like this, not to have banking facilities, it is not correct. And so we will encourage a commercial bank to come and open a facility in Bunkpurugu so that people can have banking services 24/7. Aside from that, I mentioned to the Nairi, and I mentioned when I was in Nalergu, that because of the security situation in this area, the intention is to establish a military barracks here. So that we have a Ghana Armed Forces facility here, and to be able to check the threats of terrorism, not only terrorism, but to provide general security in the area. Aside from that, we will have an anti-armed robbery squad in this region. We are going to have this squad. It's going to be a collaboration between the police and the military, and we're going to wage a strong fight against armed robbers so that people can go about their business in peace without fear that they will be molested. For our young people who want to join the forces, I hear you complain that you don't have English and maths. But English and maths is not the only way of entering the forces. You have the tradesmen. And so even if you don't have English and maths, but you learn a vocation, you can enter the security services. If you are a driver, you can apply and enter the security services. If you are a tailor, you can apply and enter the security services. If you are a carpenter or a mason or a welder or an auto mechanic, you can enter the security services. And so it's not only your certificate and English and maths, no. And that's why I encourage our young people, even if you don't have English and maths, learn to drive. If you don't have English and maths, learn to be a carpenter or a mason or a vulcanizer or a welder or a tailor. And when they are recruiting, you go and say, I'm a tradesman. And if you have your NVTI certificate, that's it. You present it, and you can join the forces. And that's why I was happy, the one who came and said that we should open an NVTI center here so that our young people can go and learn a vocation so that they can use that vocation to get employment. And so I'll encourage you to work hard so that we are able to provide you with employment. We are going to do the 24-hour economy system. Right now, most businesses open at 8 and close at 5. But we're going to give them incentives so that they can work beyond 5 o'clock in the evening. And if they work beyond 5 o'clock in the evening, then it means they must employ more people to do another shift. And so many of our young people who are qualified, who are sitting at home, if businesses are working beyond one shift, then it means that they will have to employ more of these children to come and work for them. And so the 24-hour economic policy is going to help many of our young people to be able to find employment in these businesses that will be working beyond 5 o'clock. Some people can go to work in the morning and close, and then in the evening, others too can go and work. And so we'll implement the 24-hour economic policy. In all the 6 regions, the 6 new regions, in 2020, we said that we're going to provide some facilities in order to make them worthy of being called new regions. And I remember that in 2020, I promised that for all the 6 new regions, we'll provide a regional hospital. And so the Northeast region will get a regional hospital. So that if there are cases that your health centers and your district hospitals cannot handle, you don't have to rush the person to Tamale. You have your own regional hospital here where you can send the patient. I also said that each of the new regions will have a public university or the campus of a university. And so all the 6 new regions will have either a public university or the campus of an established university. And so this region is also going to get that. And I know that all the tertiary institutions are on the Bunkpurugu side. And there's no tertiary institution on this side. And so you would have a priority when we're considering the establishment of any other tertiary institution. We also believe that sports is a very important activity for physical health and then also for jobs and earning money. If we're able to grow more athletes, more footballers, more boxers, they'll be able to go out onto the international stage and earn money and bring it back home. And so we also promise that in all the regions that do not have sports stadia, we're going to build modern sports stadiums. And Northeast is going to get a modern sports stadium so that we can grow the sports talent in this region. And so there's a lot that we were doing that we didn't finish. And we're going to come, and as I said, we'll continue the abandoned projects. I said we'll give priority to abandoned projects before we start new ones. And so we'll continue the road projects, the education projects, the water projects, the electrification projects, the road projects that were not completed and abandoned by this government. We'll come and continue and finish them.